Shalom, shalom. What's going on? What's going on, Israel? Shout out to y'all. I was in the chat. Sorry I started a little bit late, a few minutes late. But again, if you don't catch the live, you guys already know. You can rewatch it. Give me 2 seconds here. All right, so let's dig deep, man. We're going to talk about the snare. I just wanted to get this video out because a lot of people don't understand the snare. They think everything is all willy-nilly just because you call yourself an Israelite or you think you know scriptures and, you know what I'm saying? It's just a bunch of madness going on out here where people think they have it all figured out, but they really don't. Then they get trapped. Now there's a bunch of, when I say get trapped, there's a bunch of ways that you can get trapped. Obviously Caesar's system, just in general, people around you, people that say, who think they are someone, but they're really not. That happens a lot, especially in the Israelite community, where people talk about, oh, I think I'm an Israelite, or I think I'm Issachar, or, you know what I'm saying, or some crazy shit. Nobody knows their tribe. You know what I mean? No one 100% knows their tribe. And it's just a bunch of madness, man. We're living in Babylon, future day Babylon, where it's basically the same as the past. Every nation comes here, speaks the same language, participates in Caesar's games, his sports, his finances, everything, his fiat, all that stuff. And all that stuff is a snare to us. And we really got to break down the snare for anyone that wants to know, just to learn how to really move, especially out here in Babylon, so you don't get caught up in the shit, and having to redo your whole life and people keeping you away from things that you might want to do. I mean, there's snares all around you, even people that, again, that call themselves your brother. So let's get started, man. So let's get this first scriptures out the way. Exodus 34, 12 through 14. Take heed to thyself. Now, understand that word, because we're going to be talking about that word, you know what I mean, as we go forward. So take heed to thyself, lest thou make a covenant with the inhabitants of the land, whither thou goest, lest it be a snare in the midst of thee. But ye shall destroy their altars, break their images, and cut down their groves. For thou shalt worship no other God, for the Lord, whose name is jealous, is a jealous God. So when I read that, I don't know about anybody else, but when I read that, the God of Israel, he doesn't want you making no agreements with anyone. Now, this is when we're going into the land. This is when he's talking about the Canaanites and all that stuff. You know what I mean? Don't make no covenants with them. So that's all that's marriages included. You know what I'm saying? Anything that involves an agreement. You know what I mean? All that stuff is a covenant. You know what I'm saying? No side, you know what I mean? Wicked side businesses and all this crazy stuff, and you know what I mean, trying to get over on people. All that is covenants, man. Trying to sign up, trying to be, if I'm an Israelite, I can't go and just say, oh, I'm gonna be an Egyptian, or I'm gonna be I want to be a part of Gog Magog. You know what I'm saying? It's just crazy. So those are just some examples. But you see where the God of Israel says, who is a jealous God, is a jealous God. Take heed to thyself. So the Most High, he's saying, look, take heed to thyself. Make no covenant. So everything you do for yourself. Now, as a nation, of course, he's talking about as a nation to your own. You know what I'm saying? He's talking as a whole. But in essence, you know what I mean, he's talking about yourself. Don't even include somebody else in anything that you're doing, basically. Because he's a jealous God. You got to remember, we're set apart for the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. You know what I mean? If you don't understand that, you're going to get hit with so many snares out here, especially when he's testing you and trying you and all that. You're going to get hit by so many snares. You know what I mean? Whether it be relationships, you know what I mean, finances, just the way you move socially, the people you hang around with, You know what I mean? Anything, like we talked about already. So just understand these verses. This is in the Torah, Exodus 34, 12 through 14. Understand why the Most High says he's a jealous God. You know what I mean? He wants us to him. He wants us to himself. You know what I'm saying? And we have to understand that. You know what I mean? He only saves when there's no man involved at all. You know what I'm saying? That's the only time the Most High saves. And we're going to go ahead and add that so I can talk to you guys about that too. For you guys that have been on this channel, anyone new, we're going to talk about that as well. So let's go to the next verse. Deuteronomy 7. And these are just some verses I want to, you know what I mean? I like opening up with Torah and then go throughout the rest of the book just to show you guys just good examples, man. So we're going to go to Deuteronomy 7, 15 through 18. Shalom, Musha. All right, so Deuteronomy 7, 15 through 18. And the Lord will take away from thee all the sickness. I will put none of the evil diseases of Egypt, which thou knowest, upon thee, but will lay them upon them that hate thee. So this is the reversing of the curses. If we do right and don't do wrong, and thou shalt consume all the people which the Lord thy God shall deliver thee. Thine eye shall have no pity on them, neither shalt thou serve their gods, for it will be a snare unto thee. If thou shalt say in thy heart, these nations are more than I, how can I dispossess them? Thou shalt not be afraid of them, but shalt well remember what the Lord thy God did unto Pharaoh, unto all of Egypt. So when we're talking about that, and we're seeing how, especially when the Most High says, look, that shall be a snare unto them, to you, unto thee, if you serve their gods. Now, if we're living in Babylon, right? If we're living in Babylon, right? There's a whole bunch of things that can be gods. You know what I mean? Let's just keep that out. Let's just put that out there. You got idols. You got athletes. You got, you know what I mean, a whole bunch of different things that fit in the position of being a god. You know what I mean? If you don't understand that, that's why he tells us don't worship any graven images and all that stuff, because that could be a god unto you. You know what I'm saying? So all that stuff, if we reverse that and look away from that, it can never be a snare unto us again. You know what I'm saying? So you can be hanging with somebody and they could be, you know what I mean, worshiping a god, and just because you're hanging with them and you're starting to recognize that this thing might have power to that person, he might not be an Israelite, but you might say, all right, like if you ever watched that movie, I think that movie with Adam Sandler and Cameron Garnett, and they have that little rock and they're worshiping that rock to give him powers or whatever. It's all the same shit. All that is a snare to you. You're gonna end up. It might work for you in the short run, but the long run is gonna be devastating. So just take that into account, and we're gonna keep it moving. So now that we went over those, Shalom, what's going on, y'all? I see y'all in the chat room. I appreciate y'all for coming. If you missed anything, just go back, rewind it. We just went over the first two verses, so it's not really the first two sections of this video. So it's not really that much that you missed, Nicole. All right, so here we go again. So we're gonna go to Jeremiah 5, 25 through 26. Let's go right here. Jeremiah 5, 25 through 26. Your iniquities have turned away these things, and your sins have withholden good things from you. Remember that. Your iniquities have turned away these things, Jeremiah 5, 25. And your sins have withholden good things from you. Now, the good things are us, the stuff that we receive when we're not hidden by snares. You know what I mean? We understand that. Since we want to do bad things and all this stuff, you know what I mean? The Most High is going to put curses on us. We already know that. For among my people are found wicked men. They lay wait as he set of snares. They set a trap. They catch men. So this one line, you know what I mean, relates to us throughout all, you know what I mean, all of our existence, especially captivity. You know what I mean, we turn away from the Most High. We already know he hides his face from us, especially in this day and age. So the things that we do and the way we live, we have to actually go by the book and understand and have wisdom and read these stories and understand how to get out of situations and how to avoid situations, because we're still being tried and tested. And we all should know Zechariah. You know what I mean? Because the Most High, he uses these other nations to test us too. You know what I'm saying? You don't think Samson was being tested? You know what I'm saying? He was being tested. No matter all the powers that he had, that the Most High blessed him with, he was still being tested. And at the end, he got brought down. Why? Even though he had all those powers, he still didn't want to listen, you know what I mean, to the truth. He got hit with a snare. And we all know who that snare was. So let's keep going. Zechariah 13, 7 through 9. We should all know these verses. Awake, O sword, against my shepherd, against the men that is my fellow, saith the Lord of hosts. Smite the shepherd, and the sheep shall scatter, and I will turn my hand upon the little ones. And it shall come to pass that in all the land, saith the Lord, 2 parts therein shall be cut off, but the third part shall be left therein. So we're talking about the 2/3 that will be cut off, and the 1 part that should be the 1/3 that should be saved. And I will bring the third part through the fire. Now, what is he talking about? Through the fire. And I will refine them as silver is refined. And I will try them as gold is tried. They shall call on my name, and I will hear them. I will say, it is my people. And I shall say, the Lord is my God. Now, this brings us back to the first verse that we're talking about, when the Most High said that he's a jealous God. Don't make no covenants with these other people. Only call on his name. You know what I mean? When he says he's a jealous God, only he is who you should be calling on. You know what I'm saying? And when you do that, literally, you can't get hit by any snare. There's no side business. There's no in between. There's no saying, oh, I can do this on my own. And I mean, I can listen to this person. I can go ahead and read this book over here and I should be all right. No, man, it's all, you know what I mean, centered to the God of Israel. If that's not your source, you're going to get hit with a snare. And just by seeing us being tried, that 1/3 being tried, we can go and relate this to Joseph. And I just want to bring out some verses in Joseph, because we all know how the snare that caught him. Now, a lot of people don't know Joseph was, I mean, just because he got caught, his brother sold him off, went to Egypt. He was basically in his own type of captivity. You know what I'm saying? He had like a little personal captivity, which was later on a good thing for the rest of Israel. But we're just gonna keep it on a micro level, just focusing on him. So he goes to Egypt. He becomes a slave, right? He's hit with a snare. So Genesis 39:7, and I just want to point some things out so you guys see how the Most High works and why he's a jealous God, and why he's going to be with us through times where he's trying us. So we all know Genesis 39:7, and it came to pass after these things that his master's wife cast her eyes upon Joseph, and she said, lie with me. Now we all know this story already, but I just want to point some things out. There is none greater in this house than I, neither have he kept back anything from me but thee, because thou art his wife. How then can I be the great wickedness and sin against God? And it came to pass, as she spake to Joseph day by day, that he hearkened not unto her to lie by her or to be with her. And it came to pass about this time that Joseph went into the house to do his business, and there was none of the men of the house there within. And she caught him by his garment, saying, lie with me. And he left his garment in her hand, and fled and got him out. And it came to pass, when she saw that he had left his garment in her hand and was fled forth, that she called unto the men of the house and spake unto them, saying, see, he that brought in the Hebrew unto us to mock us, he came in unto me to lie with me. And I cried with a loud voice. Now, we all know this story time and time again, especially when we watch these slave movies, how these European white women used to call rape. And, you know what I mean? It's the same thing. It's no different. We all know who the Israelites are. Anybody that's reading this book that has any damn common sense know these are the same people as some of the Negroes today. So let's keep going. Genesis 39:19. And it came to pass, his master heard the words of his wife. She spake unto him, saying, after this manner did the servant to me, that his wrath was kindled. And Joseph's master took him and put him in a prison, a place where the king's prisoners were bound. And he was there in the prison. But the Lord was with Joseph and shewed him mercy and gave him favor in the sight of the keeper of the prison. And the keeper of the prison committed to Joseph's hand and all the prisoners that were in the prison. And whatsoever they did there, he was their doer of it. The keeper of the prison looked not to anything that was under his hand, because the Lord was with him. And that which he did, the Lord made it prosper. So let's just wrap all this up so it makes sense. When Joseph got hit with the snare, he was going to jail no matter what. You know what I'm saying? He couldn't get out of it. He's in his own captivity. Obviously, the woman wanted him to lie with him. She lied, all sorts of stuff, right? Fast forward, he gets to the jail. Joseph he understood that he got hit with the snare, but he wasn't going to make the snare destroy him. As you can see, the Most High said he was with him. So anything that Joseph did, it prospered. Not saying that the Most High was doing it for him, but Joseph was in there actually using his wisdom and understanding how to get out of the jail. Now, we all know his gift. We all have gifts. We all know Joseph's gift was he's a dreamer of dreams. He understood. But at the same time, he used his gift and the power of the Most High. Obviously, the Most High gave him power to reveal these dreams and basically got these people in Egypt excited. You know what I mean? The people in the prison that he interpreted their dreams, and obviously Pharaoh and all that. So we understand what Joseph was doing. He used his own gift. The Most High allowed him to prosper while he was in prison and was able to come out. So we know he was in captivity back then, right? So if we're looking at Deuteronomy 28, and we know that we're in captivity right now, right? We're in the same, if I'm just Joseph alone, and I know, all right, I'm in Egypt, and you want to call this a prison, and I'm in a prison, and I got to deal with this shit. Now let's go see what this curse is upon us. Deuteronomy 28:29. So we know we chose the curses. If you read Deuteronomy 28, we have blessings and we have curses. But this 28:29, this right here is an ongoing curse. Now, obviously, a lot of the curses in Deuteronomy 28 are not here anymore because time is going on and the chains are being released little by little. But if you read Deuteronomy 28:29, and thou shalt grope at noonday as the blind gropeth in darkness, and thou shalt not prosper in thy ways, and thou shalt be only oppressed and spoiled evermore, and no man shall save thee. So let's go back to Joseph. Remember when we read about Joseph, he was able to prosper. He was still oppressed. He was still locked up. But he wasn't looking for no man to save thee. He wasn't going out there banging on walls and hoping for some man to come, do something for him to get him out of jail and all that stuff. No, he wasn't doing that. And we talk about this all the time, especially in our channel, or if you're tapped into our YFT network, you should know what the snare is. No man shall save thee. Thou shalt be oppressed and spoiled evermore. Y'all shall not prosper in any of thy ways. Now, this is if you choose this is because we chose the curses. These curses put this on us. And we have to understand that. But the curses are meant to be broken. So when we read that and we understand it and we continue to read scripture, especially when we dig into Zechariah 2, and look at the day that we're in right now, we're looking at the same Joseph situation. Joseph went in there and delivered thyself. It's just like the first verse we read. When we read Exodus, what was it? Exodus 34? 12 through 14. Take heed to thyself, lest thou make you're thinking about yourself at this point. It's not about being selfish, but when you're taking heed to thyself and you read in Zechariah 2 as well, for saith the Lord thy God, will it be unto a wall of fire around about, and will be the glory in the midst of her. Ho, ho, come forth and flee from the land of the north, saith the Lord. For I spread you abroad of the four winds of the heavens, saith the Lord. Deliver thyself, O Zion, that dwellest in the daughter of Babylon. For thus saith the Lord of hosts, after the glory that he sent unto the nations which spoil you. For he that toucheth you toucheth the apple of his eye. For behold, I will shake my hand upon them, and they shall be a spoil to their servants. And ye shall know the Lord of the hosts hath sent me. Sing and rejoice, O daughter of Zion. I come, and I will dwell in the midst of thee, saith the Lord. And many nations shall be joined to the Lord in that day. So we all know we're dwelling in Babylon right now. You know what I mean? There's no time, especially when you read in Deuteronomy 28, when it says, no man shall save thee. Zechariah 2:7, deliver thyself. This is thus saith the Lord. When you read deliver thyself, that means you go and figure it out by yourself. You know what I mean? I like using that word. Go ahead and figure it out. You know what I'm saying? If you can't figure it out by yourself with no man helping you, then you're really not, you know what I'm saying? You really don't believe in the God of Israel. You know what I mean? That's just as simple as I can put it. Now, if you read Isaiah 59, just to wrap that up, so you don't get caught in a snare, this is why I tell people a lot of times, don't listen to what other people say. Go figure it out for yourself. You know what I mean? It's that point where you're trusting in the man to do something for you, especially when we're talking about this COVID stuff and people looking for checks and stimulus and EDD, employment, all this stuff. Not saying that you might not need it, but at the end of the day, that should never be your go-to where I need to go to Caesar to help me. So if we read Isaiah 59, right? Let's just read this real quick, because a lot of people don't understand this. They don't read it. They still believe in Yahweh Shai, and this is the reason why they would never prosper. I mean, we got to understand what did we read already? The Most High says he's a jealous God, right? When we read Deuteronomy 7, let's go over that one more time right before we read this again. Let's go here. I feel like it was Exodus 34. I apologize. Where he said he was a jealous God. For thou shalt worship no other God. The Lord, whose name is jealous, is a jealous God. So let's go to Isaiah 59. And let's see why that jealousy is so real. Let's go to Isaiah 59, 14. And judgment is turned away backward, and justice stand afar off, for the truth is fallen in the street, and equity cannot enter. So let's think about Joseph for a second. Let's go back. Joseph had no justice. You know what I'm saying? There was no truth there. It was one person's word against another. I mean, there's no fairness in that, and we all know that. Yeah, truth faileth. Isaiah 59:15. Yeah, truth faileth, and he that departed from evil, making himself a prey. And the Lord saw it, and it displeased him that there was no judgment. So the Most High is looking at us. You know what I mean? Even though he still got us in captivity, he still sees who's doing what. He's still trying people, just like how we read in Zechariah 13. He's still testing people. But if you read Isaiah 59:16, and he saw that there was no man, and wondered that there was no intercessor. Therefore his arm brought salvation unto him, and his righteousness it sustained him. Now let's go back to Joseph and Snare. He was in jail. There was no man helping Joseph. There was no man doing anything for him. He got hit with the snare. He figured it out. He delivered thyself. He figured it out. He was no man. So when the Most High says, therefore his arm brought salvation unto him, and his righteousness it sustained him, he's telling you, look, there was no man. I don't have to be jealous. The Most High is basically saying, I don't have to be jealous of anyone, and I can save you easily because you never look to any man to do anything for you. I mean, this is the test that all of Israel has to go through, especially in this captivity. You know what I'm saying? People are looking here and there, wanting help from this person, that person, and listening to one person's word or being hit with a snare from one. You know what I mean? You guys get the picture, especially you've been on this page. So let's go to Isaiah 30 real quick, and we're going to wrap all this up, and we're going to dig into some more scriptures that's going to especially help a lot of people out. Especially people who are looking to other people. Especially when you're listening to someone that doesn't use the words of the Most High. I mean, there's a lot of people out here that claim they're teachers and and professors and mores and all this stuff. You know what I mean? Over here, you guys know what you get. You get what the Most High says, and we keep it pushing. You know what I mean? There's no other way around it. So let's go right here. Isaiah 30, verse 1. Woe to the rebellious children, save the Lord, that take counsel, but not of me, and that cover with a covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin, that walk down to Egypt, and have not asked at my mouth, to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh, and to trust in the shadow of Egypt. So remember, we're only supposed to be trusting in the Most High, the God of Israel. You know what I'm saying? He's a jealous God. He said that in the Torah. Therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh be your shame, and the trust in the shadow of Egypt your confusion. They were all ashamed of the people that could not profit them, nor unhelp nor profit, but a shame and also a reproach. So this goes for the Egyptians, Pharaoh, Caesar, any man that you're looking to. You know what I mean? It's going to be a shame unto you, anyone that sees that, anyone that has to deal with that. And we're going to go to verse 10 real quick. Which say to the seers, see not, and to the prophets, prophesy not unto us the right things. Speak unto us the smooth things, prophecy, deceits. Now, we already know a lot of people in Israel, they don't want to figure it out themselves. They'll rather go, you know what, I don't want to read scripture. Or they might just read verses here and there, but they'll rather go to a congregation and have them tell them the good things. You know what I mean? The stuff that they want to hear. People want to hear blessings all damn day, but never want to, you know what I mean, actually fulfill the truth, or actually, you know what I mean, do what the Most High is telling them to do. You guys are still, like, especially IUIC and all these camps and all that stuff, you guys are going there, but you're not seeking the Most High for yourself. You're up there listening to that man tell you. I mean, if you go back in the scriptures and you read every time when Israel was reading the scriptures, when we read scriptures and the Torah was being read to everybody, that was once in a while. It wasn't no everyday thing where I have to rely on this man to read this for me, to help me understand this. You know what I mean? That's not the way things are supposed to go. So we read verse 12. Wherefore thus saith the Holy One of Israel, because ye despise this word, and trust in oppression and a perversiveness, and stay thereon. Therefore this iniquity shall be unto you as a breach ready to fall, swelling out of the high wall, whose breaketh cometh suddenly at an instant. So like I said before, just because you're trusting in oppression, perversiveness, just because you say that you're an Israelite, but if you really don't know the word, you're really not trusting in the word at all. You despise the word. So suddenly, when that time comes, all that trust you had in someone or some entity, your break is coming suddenly at an instant, just like the scripture says. You know what I mean? It will be instant. And let's go to Isaiah 31 real quick. Now this is when we read in Isaiah 30, when it says, don't go down to Egypt, we understand that. Now the Egyptians are men and not God, and their horses flesh and not spirit. When the Lord shall stretch out his hand, both he that helpeth shall fall, and he that hopeth shall fall down, and they all shall fail together. So when we talk about people wanting to go get free slave papers and jurisdiction, I'm going to Caesar to do this, you know what I'm saying, I'm waiting on Caesar for payments, and you know what I mean, Caesar's paying me my check, so I'm good. You know what I'm saying? All that right there, you have to understand, man, that has nothing to do with God. You know what I mean? The Most High understands everybody's situation. Sometimes people got to get out of a situation, but your mindset should always be, I don't want no man in between me and the God of Israel. So let's go to Jeremiah 17 real quick. And it's happening time and time again. I literally sit back, read these verses, and any situation I'm in, or if I'm looking at someone else's situation from the outside looking in, I already know the outcome. The outcome is so easy to see. And it's not that I can see the future or whatnot, or it's not none of that. It's just understanding the scriptures. Like, if it don't line up with the scriptures, it's easy to see the outcome. So when the scripture says, Isaiah 31, and he that hoping shall fall down, and they shall all fail together, you know what I'm saying? You're basically saying, look, this man can help me. You know what I'm saying? This Caesar can help me. You know what I'm saying? Like, all that shit is is basically what it means. So let's go to Jeremiah 17 real quick, 5-8. Thus saith the Lord, cursed be the man that trusteth in man, and make his flesh his arm, and whose heart departeth from the Lord. For he shall be like the heath in the desert, and shall not see when good cometh, but shall inhabit the parched places in the wilderness, in a salt land, and not inhabited. So look at this. You might think you're doing something right when you're trusting in someone. Someone's telling you to do something. We should do this. We should do that. But what did the scripture say? What did the God of Israel say? Cursed be the man that trusteth in man and maketh flesh his arm. So basically when it says and maketh flesh his arm, and whose heart departed from the Lord, you're no longer under the Most High's umbrella. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. We are living in the book of the prophets. That's exactly right, Solomon Campbell. When people understand that, we have to understand, look, we have the Torah, then the book of the prophets. We're still living in that right now. There's no New Testament. Once you start understanding we're still living in this book of the prophets, then life will be a lot easier. You know what I'm saying? The Most High be with you. But let's go back to these verses. For he shall be like the heath in the desert, and shall not see when good have come, but shall inhabit the parched places in the wilderness, in a salt land not inhabited. So when you read those verses and you just try and picture what that might look like in real life, it doesn't necessarily mean you have to be in the wilderness or you have to be in the desert and in uninhabited places. It's not really saying that. Of course, it can mean that as well. You know what I'm saying? There's good examples right now of that happening. But it also means where whatever you're doing might not prosper. So you could be in the middle of the city or whatever, living in some abandoned place or being abandoned somewhere, I don't know. But it also means that, look, you're going to be screwed over at some point in a place where you don't want to be at. You know what I mean? Because you're no longer having the Most High, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob as your umbrella, but you actually got this other man as your umbrella, as if he knows everything that has to be done. When the Most High says he's turned his face away from us, he's hid his face away from us, there's no instructions to anyone in Israel. The only instruction right now is to return back to the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. That's really the only instruction. So when people say that the Most High is telling us to do this and move here and move there, it's all a lie. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we have to understand. If you're not doing something for yourself or not understanding how to move on your own and not trusting the man, and especially Caesar, you need to start figuring it out real fast, because you have to start delivering thyself. And the blessed man that trusteth in the Lord, whose hope in the Lord is, for he shall be as a tree planted by the waters, and that spreadeth out her roots by the river, and shall not see when the heat cometh, but her leaf shall be green, and shall not be careful in the year of the drought, neither shall cease from yielding fruit. So everything if you trust in the Lord and you're delivering yourself, and you understand that there's no man that could be in between you and the God of Israel, everything should be smooth. You shouldn't be having to go through droughts and all this stuff. Yeah, you might have a hiccup here and there, but what did the Most High say? You should be prosperous if you trust in Him. You got to trust in the Lord. And we're about to wrap it up here, but Proverbs 6 is a good example, and I want to relate it to modern day, because I know a lot of people have to hear this. So let's go to Proverbs 6 real quick, 1-11. I don't know if you guys actually read this, but let's just read it real quick. My son, if thou be for surety for thy friend, if thou hast stricken thy hand with a stranger, thou art snared. Remember that word, snare. Thou art snared with the words of thy mouth. Thou art taken with the words of thy mouth. Do this now, my son, and deliver thyself. Now, Proverbs, we got to understand, this is not the Most High speaking. We all know that. But what did we read already in Zechariah 2? The Most High did tell us to deliver thyself. So when I read scriptures where the Most High is not speaking, I go back and really formulate what the Most High did say. Now, does this relate to what the Most High said already? Yes, it does. So I can take this to be true. Do this now, my son, and deliver thyself. When thou art come into the hand of thy friend, go humble thyself and make sure thy friend. Give not sleep to thine eyes, nor slumber to thy eyelids. Deliver thyself as a roe from the hand of the hunter, and as a bird from the hand of the fowler. Go to the ant, thou sluggard, consider her ways and be wise, which haveth no guide, no overseer or ruler, provideth her meat in the summer, and gathereth her food in the harvest. How long wilt thou sleep, O sluggard? When wilt thou arise out of thy sleep? Yet a little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to sleep. So shall poverty come as the one that travaileth, and thou want as an armed man. So when we're understanding these scriptures, especially in Proverbs, and we understand the captivity that we're in, of course we all know we're still serving Caesar. We're still paying Caesar's taxes. We're still paying bills. We're still doing all that. There's a lot of stuff that we pay for that we're not supposed to be paying for. And this is to keep us oppressed. And we understand in Deuteronomy, the Most High says we'll be oppressed forevermore, and no man shall save you. But then when you're reading future prophecy, and he says, deliver thyself, ye that dwelleth in the land, in the midst of Babylon, we understand that we're living in a time of major confusion, major disruption of the economy and society. And common sense should tell you, even though we have these curses on us, these curses are still slowly being taken away. We're not in actual chains anymore. A lot of people don't know the reason why everybody's in slavery right now is because Caesar changed the entire monetary system. He doesn't have to have you in chains. He doesn't have to have you as servants. You know what I mean? Everything is corporate. Everything is fiat based. Nothing is transacted in gold anymore. You can't go to Walmart and pay in gold. And this is just the land that we're in. The snares are set up for us to fail. So when you take that and you understand the time that we're living in, we're not in the plantation homes anymore and all that. You're able to find ways, especially using the internet. You're able to find ways to do your own thing. You know what I mean? And that's what I like preaching, telling people, look, there's ways you can find to do your own thing, man. Especially, and I'm not here saying that technology is a say all be all, but the technology is here. I'm talking to you right now through technology. You know what I'm saying? The whole Israelite movement, the Most High woke us up. But when you look at how he did it, you cannot disagree and say he didn't use the internet. You know what I mean? The word was already out here, but once the internet and social media started catching on, then everything started blooming. You know what I'm saying? A lot of the truth started coming out. And people still can't see the truth because why? They will sit there and read something on the internet and still look to see what man is telling them to do. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. So just know that anything Caesar provides for you is a snare. Any system Caesar has you set up in captivity is a snare. And it's not saying just because you're in captivity, you have to be attached to this snare. No, you can deliver thyself and find ways where you can actually, you know what I mean, not have no man in between you, and showing God, like we read in Isaiah 59, when he told us there was no man in between you, therefore I have showed salvation. And he saw that there was no man because there was no truth and there was no justice. There was no man, no intercessor. Therefore his arm brought salvation. You know what I'm saying? So don't be trusting people. Don't be just because someone might tell you something or might don't be doing that. You know what I mean? Do it on your own will. Go to the God of Israel about it, and you should know what you can and cannot be doing, who you should be messing with. Because there's people out here right now, especially being hit with snares, man, having people move to Africa, Utah, all sorts of shit. Believe me, I can get you money here. Let's go to Caesar, and you know what I mean, we can sign this paperwork. You know what I'm saying? We just got to trust in Caesar. You know what I mean? We just read Isaiah 30. The Egyptians are just men and not God. Their horses are just horses. They're not a spirit. If you can't figure out a way to do it on your own, like we say, figure it out on your own, then, you know what I'm saying, there's no point doing it. So let's go to Joshua 1 real quick, and we're going to wrap this up. Only be strong and very courageous, that thou mayest observe to do according to all the law, which Moses my servant commanded thee. Turn not from it to the right hand or to the left, that thou mayest prosper whithersoever thou goest. This book of the law shall not depart of thy mouth, but shall meditate therein day in, day out. Thou shalt mayest observe to do according to all that is written therein. For then shall make thy ways prosperous, and thou shalt have good success. Have I not commanded thee? Be strong and good courage. Be not afraid, neither thou be dismayed, for the Lord thy God is with thee, wheresoever thou goest. So understand that, man. Understand why Joseph didn't go look to a man when he was locked up after that snare. You know what I mean? He was able to use his own gifts that the Most High supplied him with. You know what I mean? And once we understand this, especially relationships, man, there's a lot of snares out here. People getting hit with snares. You know what I mean? That's a whole nother subject we can get into another day. You know what I mean? But trusting in these women's words, just like Samson. You know what I'm saying? We go back, that's a snare. You can get set up for that. You know what I mean? So it's real strategic how you're supposed to be moving. Right now, we're supposed to be, you know what I mean, me and my Ock Flock, YFT Network, you know what I mean? We like using the video game Metal Gear Solid. If you ever played that game way back in PlayStation, I know they still have it out now. But the main character of the video game, his name is Snake. And he's just moving so silently throughout the whole game. Like, you know what I'm saying? You got to understand how to move and not to get hit, not to trigger off anything that could, you know what I mean, that can get you to go backwards. You know what I mean? You always want to go forwards in this walk. You always want to go forward in this walk. You know what I'm saying? And doing that, you can really, especially being scattered in this captivity, the only way you can move forward is if you deliver thyself, you think about yourself. And it's not saying you can't help your brother or your sister. I'm not saying that. But you cannot be relying on somebody. The minute you start relying on someone, everything is X'd out. You're done. You know what I mean? You have to get out that mindset, relying on people, doing all that shit, trusting in a man, trusting in Caesar, trusting in Egypt, trusting in the United States. Anything that they have, all that is a snare, man. So that's all I'm going to have. I'm going to wrap it up. I appreciate y'all for coming in. We had a good one today. Exactly, man. Solomon Campbell, you was on the head today, man. You was on the money. I appreciate y'all for coming in. Sorry I haven't really been on it, but I'm going to try and get on, especially every week, have a new topic. And I appreciate y'all for coming in, man. All right? Shalom. All glory to the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Peace.